Hi everyone, welcome back to Tuesday STEAM Activity. My name is Jackie. I am one of Markham Public Library's digital literacy specialists, and today we are making ocean in a bottle. So it's going to be a little bit of an experiment and an activity together. We're going to explore the density of different liquids, oil versus water, and the buoyancy of water and different objects. What is density and what is buoyancy? So density is basically how heavy an object is. So in this case, how heavy the water, how dense, how heavy it is. Is water heavier or oil heavier if we're talking about the same amount of liquid? Buoyancy is, you know how sometimes paper floats on water. Do you think water is going to float in oil? Are certain things going to float in water or certain things going to sink? So that's called buoyancy. So we are going to use the water and the oil to mix it into a bottle to create an ocean in a bottle. So what we will need today is a empty glass jar or bottle, preferably no label on it. So I got mine from my honey jar. So I just finished one and I have an empty glass bottle. Preferably have a lid on it because you will be shaking it around. And then you're going to have food colorings, blue food coloring. If you do not have food coloring at home, like me, you can use a paint set, watercolor, or any paint, acrylic, and you're gonna use a little bit of the blue to mix it in with the water. We're gonna need oil. You can use cooking oil, you can use body oil, baby oil, any oil would work. Just depends on what you have at home. Now is the more fun part. Obviously, we need water because we are mixing water and oil together. So in a separate jar, put in the water that you need. So how I measured it is I went over to the tap with the glass jar that I'm gonna use, and I filled my water out until halfway mark. And I'm gonna fill it up with halfway water and halfway oil, and I just dump the water into another jar because I need to mix my water. I need to mix my water afterwards. So there it is. And then you need your ocean decoration. So for me, I decided to DIY and made it myself. So I have 3 little pieces of rocks to mimic the ocean. At the bottom, there are rocks. Okay, you can go ahead and look for things at home that are ocean related, and you can put things in to see whether or not they will float or they will sink. So what I end up doing is I went with a SpongeBob theme because SpongeBob lives under the ocean, so I thought this would be perfect. So I drew up some SpongeBob characters. So there's Patrick and SpongeBob house, the pineapple house. I have Patrick's rock house, I have Squidward's house. So what I end up doing is I drew up SpongeBob. Okay, so this is SpongeBob playing with the jellyfish catcher, and I have a few jellyfish here. The ones that you want to put inside the jar, wrap it around with tape, because the moment water touches paper, the paper warps and it disintegrates and it gets destroyed. You want the paper to flow around in the glass jar. So I use tape and tape it around. So you can go ahead and do that with your paper decoration. If you're not using paper decoration, you're using existing plastic turtle and plastic fish, then you don't need any taping. So like this. The ones I want to put in the jar, wrap it around with tape. So I'm gonna put SpongeBob in there. It should fit. Okay, SpongeBob in there, and then at the back, I glued a seed on it. So if you can see, there's a small seed on there. I glued it in because I want to see if the seed will sink through the water or float in the oil. So it's gonna be a little bit of experiment. So if you have seeds at home, walnuts, any type of nut and seeds at home, you can glue that behind your paper decoration. I don't have I just have one seed at home, so I'm just gonna use that for now. So now what you want to do is go ahead and mix the water first and make it into blue. Now ocean is a color of blue, so use blue food coloring. But if you're someone that wants to make it a little bit special, you can use any color you want. You can use purple and pink, doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna put my decoration aside. All right, glass jar, and I'm gonna take out my paint set here. It will be easier if you have acrylic because you can just squeeze a drop or two in there and adjust how strong the coloring you want it to be. But all of my acrylic paint dried out. So I'm just gonna use watercolor. So this is gonna take some time. Bear with me. Oh, I start seeing color now. So this is totally up to you, this part, how strong of a blue you want. If you just want like light blue, then you only need a few drop of watercolor. If you want dark blue, then go ahead. Oh, you can kind of start seeing that my water is turning into blue. That's good. Can you guys see it's turning into blue? Okay. I'm just gonna do it more because I want the contrast to be there. You should also use some type of paper on top of your table when you're doing this because we are dealing with paint and you don't want to make a mess. And I'm starting to see paint splashes on my table. So yes, go ahead, use some type of paper to cover up your work. Sorry, to cover up the table before you start working on this part. Do you think this is good enough? Blue, like this? Maybe a bit more. I really want the oil and the blue to have that contrast. And I'm just gonna see if I can mix some black in there to make it darker. Ooh. This is good. I like this color. All right. Now that you are happy with your ocean color, so this is the ocean part, go ahead and put your paint set away. I'm gonna put it away and I'm gonna clean this part with my finger for now. Okay, clean it up later. Okay, so now that we have our ocean water in our jar, we are going to pour into the actual jar that we are doing the ocean in a bottle with. So this is a part where you might need a funnel, you might need an adult to help, or do it over the sink because you don't want any water to go to waste. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use paper just in case. So you're gonna pour it into the jar that you are using. Whew. Nothing drip, good. All right, so put the jar aside. We don't need that anymore. Now here we go. We have blue ocean water. So now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna put our oil in. Here I'm just using regular cooking oil. You can use baby oil, you can use body oil, any type of clear oil you want to use. And when you do pour the oil in, you want to make sure that you pour all the way close to the top, but not 100% yet because we are going to put other objects in. Ooh, see, maybe I can See how easy it is. Okay. See how the oil is going in and it's kind of bouncing in the water. You can kind of look at yours and look at how the oil is reacting to water. Because we are pouring it, so there is some force in it, and the oil, it is going through and penetrating through the water, but then it's also bouncing back. So here I realize, because I'm using olive oil, the oil, it's not 100% clear, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour a little bit more, and I'm gonna stop because I am going to put other things in, and I don't want it to overflow because there are weights in the things that I put in, and I wanna account for that weight as well. So now you have your water and your oil separated. So you can kind of turn a little bit and they're not mixing at all. All right, so I'm gonna put in my 3 rocks. Can you guess that if the rock will sink through the oil and water, or if the oil is gonna stay in the oil? All right, let's find out. Ooh, the rock went straight to the bottom. Let's try another one. Did you hear that? You hear that click? Huh, so why is that? Rock is heavier than oil, obviously, because it went straight through and past the oil into the water. It hits all the way at the bottom because rock is more dense than water. Rock is heavier than water. So now they're just resting at the bottom. All right, now take your other decoration that you want to put in. So here I have SpongeBob and glued with a piece of seed at the back. So this is gonna put it in. Oh, it's kind of just floating. See how SpongeBob in there? Okay. I might change my mind. I might take out SpongeBob and only put jellyfish in. So I'm gonna put the jellyfish in. Huh, you see the jellyfish in there? So I'm gonna see what happens if I take out SpongeBob. I'm gonna take out SpongeBob. I feel like it didn't really work. I'm gonna take out SpongeBob. I'm gonna use this. Put it in there so I can clean it afterwards. All right. All right, so now I have jellyfishes in there, and they are, I don't know if you can see it, they are floating in the oil, but they are not in the water. They are in the oil, but they're floating at the bottom. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add a little bit of oil, and we're just going to close the lid. You can fill it all the way up, so then that way you don't get any air bubble. But if you want to save resources, save some oil for, you know, other use, you can do that as well. Now you're just going to cover up the lid, and voila. Now we have oil and water mixed together in a bottle. So we're gonna tilt it to the side and see what happens. Let's see if it mixes together. I'm gonna stand closer to the camera so we can all see. So now I'm gonna tilt it. They're not mixing. And my jellyfish is staying inside the oil. Can you see the jellyfish? And as we are tilting it, you can also hear the rock going back and forth. This is so cute. Jellyfish are floating inside the oil. So if you have other ocean objects at home that are made out of plastic or different materials, and you want to see whether or not they're heavier or more dense than water and oil, you can give it a try. Another cool trick about this is, oh, I don't really have, my phone is recording. So what you want to do is, if you have flashlight at home, if you have another phone with light on it, you can totally put the light underneath the jar and make it into like a lava lamp. So an example here is, I have another phone here and there's lights, and what you want to do is, if you put this over the glass, it will kind of look like a lava lamp. So what you want to do is shake it up a little bit. Wow. So once you shake it, the air, it will create air bubble, and the oil, you're gonna have a lot of air bubble inside. But let it subside for a while and the air bubble will go away. Isn't it cool? So yeah, there you have it. This is ocean in a bottle. You can definitely add more things in it. I have seen people use plastic bags and create real looking jellyfish. They cut out plastic bags and they put a little bit of air bubble inside, and they use a string or a elastic to capture the air bubble and tie it around. It looks like a little jellyfish. You can put in plastic fish inside. If your parents or older adults at home go fishing, they have those plastic fish baits. You can totally put it in there and see what it looks like. This, you don't have to immediately dump it away because it is also like a decoration. I really like it. I'm just thinking about where to put this. Maybe I'll put it in the washroom. It's really cute. So yeah, that's the end of our STEAM activity. I'm just going to say a little tip of how you're gonna clean this up, because it is oil and water, especially if you are using cooking oil. The best way to dump this out is use a spoon and dump the oil in your green bin, in your organic waste, and then the rest can go in through the sink. Obviously, you're gonna take out the decoration inside, okay? And yeah, that's it for today. This is an ocean inside a bottle, where we discover the density of different things, the density of oil and versus water, and how certain things float and how certain things don't. We will see you next time, next Tuesday, also same time, for another STEAM activity. Bye now. Whoop, 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 whoop.